Good evening. My name is Samuel Bailey, and today I'm going to be talking to you about an article written by Douglas Quinqua. I apologize to that author. I totally mispronounced your name. And the name of the article is "The Gene That Turns Worms into Pavlov's Dogs." And what this article was about is at the University of Tokyo, scientists did an experiment involving taste aversion with worms. And what they did is they put salt in a dish, and they either then starved the worm and or fed it. So the salt was the neutral stimulus, and then they turned it into something for the worms to fear. And what they found is that when the worms were starved, they moved away from the salt when they were represented with the stimulus. However, when they were fed, they moved towards it. And this is an example of taste aversion. Now, what I found really interesting about this is, and in another class, we not only talked about taste aversion like we did in this one, but we actually went into it in addictions. And that's where I would want to be able to do further research. In the class, we had discussed how alcoholics, when they're going through rehab, they'll be given a drink, but they'll also be given something that is extremely unpleasant and will cause them to be nauseated. So, whenever they have this drink, they become nauseated, and then it comes to the point that they just simply taste it and they become nauseated. I want to take that one step further. It would probably be crossing a few boundaries. However, I think it would be interesting. If there was a way to manipulate that gene to where we could increase it so that when someone does have an extreme case of alcoholism or a drug addict that just can't quit and their willpower is gone, then you can do that, and strengthen it so much to the point of whenever they see the substance of their abuse, they become nauseated simply by the sight of it. Now, how does this correlate to the course? This actually correlates it to the course in a couple different ways. First off, taste aversion. That goes into Pavlov's conditioning, and because there's taste aversion, you can't have taste aversion without interstimulus intervals. Now, it didn't specifically say that in the article, however, it had to have been done. So there's another thing right there, and which is the ISI. And another thing that they had to go through, they did an experiment, scientific method. They just had to have gone through it. And what I did find interesting as to correlating to the book, because they were able to put a gene on it, which, by the way, they now call DAF-2C. I apologize, I did not mention that earlier. So they discovered something which was pretty awesome. It supports the facts, or not the fact, the debate between nature and nurture. You know, this takes both of them to formulate a person. However, this is just another tool that nature could use in their debate. So that is the conclusion of my presentation. Thank you all so very much, and I will see you in class.